Hi everyone, I want to do a quick walkthrough of the logic software. I've got logic hooked up to a really simple connection between an Arduino microcontroller board and an I2C digital to analog converter. So let's get started by launching the logic software. I'm going to start off by editing the channel labels over here. Channel 0 is our data line, that's going to be SDA, and channel 1 is our clock line, SCL. Okay, first thing we're going to do is set the number of samples to collect. So we'll set 25 million samples. And let's say we want to sample at 8 megahertz. And let's click start. Alright, cool. We got some data here. Let's take a look at it. So we can zoom in on our data by using the scroll wheel on the mouse. Scrolling in and scrolling out. We can also use the arrow keys, so up arrow, down arrow. You could also use the left and right arrows to move left and right in the data. And of course you can click and drag on the screen to move the data wherever you want it. You can also toss the data if you like to kind of quickly move through a bunch of data and kind of get an overview. Now, one of the most useful and common and basic things you're going to be doing is looking at timing information. And wherever you put the mouse, you'll notice that we have these measurements over here in this measurements area. And so, for example, you have the width here at about 1 millisecond. You can come in here and get the widths on anything you want by just hovering over it. You also can get period and frequency information, things like that. Now, let's say you wanted to find out the distance and time between, let's say, the start of this region here and, let's say, the end of this region. And for that, you'd use timing markers. So we go over here and we click T1. And we go in here and notice as we get close to a waveform edge or a transition, it'll snap to it. So I can just snap to it there and click there, and we'll go over here to this guy and we'll snap him over here. And now we have our information about 7.27 milliseconds between these two edges here. Okay, so this is I2C data, so let's see if we can add an I2C analyzer here and get this to decode automatically. So here's I2C. I2C is really simple, there's very little settings. Hit save there. And now if I zoom in here, you notice that it puts, it's actually decoded the I2C. It's actually just, located the proper edges that it's going to be analyzing the data line on, and it's put these little bubbles up here with the addressing information and the data contained in the individual bytes are going back and forth. The last thing I want to point out in this tutorial is that you can save entire sessions just the way you left them. So let's say we zoomed out here and let's say we were looking at this and there's something interesting about this particular screen right here. And you wanted to save it exactly like this so you can send it to whoever, or you can pull it up later and check it out. So what you do here is Options, Save Session, Settings and Data. And I'm going to put this on the desktop. We'll call this, let's see, I2C data. So we have this file over here now called I2C data. And let's say we close down the software and we go home. And then the next day we open up the software again and we want to take a look at this data. All we have to do is drag it in here and boom, it's exactly the way we left it. All the data is there. You can zoom out, haven't lost anything. And it, of course, starts off in exactly the way you left it. So you can send it to somebody and they'll instantly be looking exactly whatever you were looking at last.